Penguin Random House Audio presents Hello, Cruel World. Science-based strategies for raising terrific kids in terrifying times. This is the author, Melinda Wenner Moyer. For all our children. Introduction. I can't remember exactly when the insomnia started, but it was not long after my kids stopped yelling for me in the middle of the night. I remember feeling such relief at the possibility of finally, again, enjoying restful slumber, only to discover that my brain had other plans. At least once a week, something would rouse me at an ungodly hour, my house creaking, my dog snoring, my bladder protesting. And suddenly I was wide awake, mind buzzing, thinking about all the scary things going on in the world. Eventually, my thoughts veered to worrying about my kids. Was I letting them watch too much YouTube? Were they resilient enough? How could I turn them into critical thinkers? Would they, too, battle anxiety in the middle of the night? Lying in bed, I tried all the remedies. Deep breathing, counting sheep, body scans, CBD tinctures. Sometimes I resorted to Xanax. Usually, after an hour or two, I could fall back asleep. But I knew the scene would repeat itself soon enough, like a dystopian version of Groundhog Day. There have been tough times all throughout history, of course, but it feels to me, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, that many issues and threats our children will have to manage weren't nearly so bad for us. They will have to contend with worsening political polarization, disinformation, climate change, gun violence, radicalization, and economic inequality, to name but a few. Whenever I'm panicking, I ask myself if there's anything I can do to feel more in control. Often, the answer is research. So, fueled in large part by the fears I have on behalf of my kids, I dove deep into data and scientific studies to try to find out if there were things I could do as a parent to help prepare them. And I was relieved to discover that the answer was yes. This book is a guide to all the strategies I uncovered. A handbook for raising kids who will be able to navigate the unique set of challenges they will face in this complex world. Our kids are struggling. Even if you don't lie awake at night worrying about your kids like I do, data shows that Gen Z and Gen Alpha are suffering right now in ways their elders did not. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, suicide attempts among youth have increased over the past decade, with more than 1 in 5 teens and nearly 1 in 3 teen girls reporting that they have seriously considered attempting suicide. Deaths due to drug overdoses among adolescents more than doubled between 2019 and 2023. Anxiety rates and sleep deprivation among youth have been on the rise too, with fewer than 1/4 of adolescents meeting recommended sleep guidelines. Perhaps as a result, many kids today don't feel like they can handle the obstacles life throws at them. In a large 2023 survey conducted by the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, nearly 70% of youth said it was either sort of or very true that when something important goes wrong in their life, they can't stop worrying about it, and they try to keep other people from finding out. As U.S. Surgeon General Vivek H. Murthy recently wrote, "The challenges today's generation of young people face are unprecedented and uniquely hard to navigate, and the effect these challenges have had on their mental health is devastating." Of course, not every kid is struggling, and some of the observed rise in youth mental health problems may not reflect true increases, but rather the fact that a higher proportion of kids and teens today are being screened and diagnosed, and hopefully treated, for mental health issues now than in the past. Still, I hear from hundreds of parents weekly as they engage with my Substack newsletter, and they are concerned, if not downright terrified. We all want to know the same thing. How can we help our kids? To that end, many of us are desperately trying to chip away at the world's problems before our kids grow up. We vote, volunteer, attend marches and rallies, give money to charity, install solar energy panels, and call our representatives. Some research suggests that contemporary motherhood causes women to become more politically active and left-leaning. I felt this change in myself, in large part because I want to make the world better for my kids. As one mother put it to me, choosing to become a parent is a decision parents make on behalf of their children. Our kids have no say, after all, in whether they're born. So it can feel like our responsibility to make sure we're not bringing them into a world that isn't worth living in. We do everything in our power to make things better, and we are making a difference. I firmly believe that. Dealing with a world full of assholes. That said, we're not going to be able to solve all the difficult problems of the world before our children grow up. And we know that some things may keep getting worse before they get better, including how we as a society treat each other. When author Ryan Holiday interviewed me for his podcast, The Daily Stoic, about my book, How to Raise Kids Who Aren't Assholes, he essentially said, "Not raising assholes is important, but how are our kids going to deal with a world full of assholes? How do we raise our children to deal with them and all the terrible things they do?" Throughout their lives, not only will our kids have to manage all sorts of problems, but they'll also have to cope with all sorts of people. What can we do to set them up to succeed? Hello, Cruel World contains my answers to those questions. We can be activists in our parenting by preparing our children for the seemingly impossible world they are going to inherit, so that they can not only handle it, but change it for the better. We can teach them the skills they will need to take care of themselves, fight for what they believe in, manage uncertainty, build healthy relationships, and bridge divides. We can help them think of themselves as part of a larger whole. We can show them how to set boundaries, care for others, and take responsibility for their actions. Over the past several decades, researchers in many fields, psychology, sociology, education, information and media literacy, communications, adolescent mental health, and addiction, among others, have been studying how various skills and strengths develop in children and teens, and what parents, teachers, and other adults can do to foster them. To uncover their hidden gems, I read thousands of studies, interviewed hundreds of researchers and therapists, and traveled to several locales to observe promising, research-based interventions so that I could share with you some of the key things parents can do to raise kids who can handle what life throws at them. I know. The last thing we all need is more work to do. I get overwhelmed when I begin listing out all the things I'm responsible for teaching, one mother lamented in a recent discussion thread in my newsletter. Wow, it's a lot. But here's some good news. Many of the parenting strategies I uncovered in my reporting are relatively easy to implement and free. Yes, some require a time investment, but many simply involve being intentional about our choices and the kinds of conversations we have with our kids. Some strategies actually involve stepping back, not giving our kids everything they want, and granting them more responsibility and independence, which can decrease our workload rather than increase it. Many of the strategies can also, over time, help kids become more generous, helpful, and resilient, which, I dare say, could make parenting a much more enjoyable experience, too. I organized the key skills our children need today into 3 categories, which form the 3 sections of this book. In Part 1, Cope, I explore the science of teaching kids how to take care of themselves and manage uncertainty and challenges. I discuss the best ways to protect children's mental health and prevent substance use and addiction. I dig into the science of fostering healthy resilience, including why and how our parental instincts sometimes undermine it rather than strengthen it. This section also includes a science-based exploration of how to help kids learn to treat themselves with compassion. And I explore the value of helping kids set careful boundaries so they can find balance in our ever-intensifying grind culture. In Part 2, Connect, I discuss how to help kids connect with those around them in ways that can bring society together rather than further drive it apart. In this section, I dive deep into the science of building strong relationships, exploring why kids often struggle to cultivate authentic connections and what can be done about it. I talk about the emerging science on the development of polarization and what we can do to ensure that our kids approach the world with curiosity and inclusiveness, rather than...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?